𝗪𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗏.
Where does the name Anuna come from? Well, Annunaki is a later term. It's actually it's an Assyrian term that was used. So people think that's the original term. It's not. Anuna is the original term. Okay, Anuna. Now let's break down that word as well. Same as Annunaki. The word on, A-N or Anu, what is Anu? Is it a being? What is it? Well, it is the Sumerian way of depicting God. Okay? It's source. I am very sure about that, okay? Because it's related through the celestial, the intelligence of the sun through what's called Shamash. So if you look up who Shamash is, you'll learn that it's the intelligence of the universe. It's like Shamash is the intelligence that comes through the sun. And they consider the sun, the stars, to be the direct Shamash God intelligence that comes through the universe, the creation. It's all everything. They considered that. For them, the sun was actually a direct connection to God, the source. That's what they considered it. Now, Anuna, because we know On is God or source for them. So the word Anuna or Anunnaki means those who are from heaven or God came here. So it's like creators or fractals of God. That's essentially what that term breaks down to mean. That's what I mean is I'm not speculating in how I think those beings are that. That's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, the only thing, if you understand how they're ordaining our destinies here and measuring our souls and in charge of cycles and all of these things, and their name breaks that down, it makes a lot of sense. I think the creator source isn't directly interacting in the same way with manipulating and changing things. I think it's everything. It is everything. I think these celestials do the creative work for it. So they're in charge of creation. Just like, think about it. We are creators, right? So we just haven't really fully understood what our creative role is yet, but we are also creators. So we can create and bring things and manifest them to reality. I think we're the same, but they're like a million times more than us. And so we're like the children of that. We just haven't figured it all out yet. But that's what I mean with saying that I don't think we're as different as they are, as we think. But I think we're just in a very primitive, limiting type of capacity right now. The Anuna call themselves the ordainers of destinies, and that they manage cycles, basically, here. And the more I wrap my head around that, I'm like, wait a minute. So what are they then? Well, they seem like we're essentially them, but in a way where we haven't figured out what we are. And that golden age of us figured out what we are. And then they unlocked it and they reached that great potential. I think the potential of what our golden age ancestors achieved is beyond our comprehension. I think that's where all the great teachers like Buddha, Krishna, Jesus all came out of that knowledge of that. Okay. And they were the teachers that were scattered throughout the ages that are trying to teach mankind. No, remember what you used to know. Remember what you are. Don't be distracted by these illusions. It's quite interesting to see it all unfold, but that is what I think they are. They're fractals of source. They're like creative fractals of source that seem to be part of something far greater than, and we're part of something far greater than we understand. And they seem to be governing the ages for us and spoon feeding us at times to help us. But Will, here's the big one. We were handed everything then, and that's why we achieved everything. I find it very interesting that they were destroyed and we were not. So they were handed everything and they lost it from these catastrophes. And then our primitive ancestors didn't understand it. And then we kind of lost it through information and destroying things, right? It's still there, but it's like in the background. It's like a shadow. It's still there. But what I mean is, based on what I've seen in tablets, I think there was an agreement made, because it's what it discusses, is that once we lost it, they would never give it to us again. We'd have to find it. I think that's what the game has become, that we're here now with all these distractions, tie-in technology, all these things that can separate us from nature and spirit, which I think that's really the core of this, is us realizing our balance with the earth and becoming part of the cycles of, again, becoming one with it, becoming in tune with those things. Okay. But I think that's the whole thing is that we have to refine it all. See, that's what the game is, that we need to put those pieces back together to make our way back to what we once were. There's never going to be a savior again. There's never going to be that lowering like what happened to Ioannis of all of that, because I think it was lowered there. Like, here, go about and now create the greatest civilizations you could ever imagine. I think megalithic building had its origins at Ioannis. Those symbols had their origin at Ioannis. That knowledge of divinity had its origins at Ioannis, and then it passed around the world, and then they were destroyed and we forgot.
Right.
And then now here we are, we're like, oh my God, look at, we can put chips in our head and we can, no. We need to remember what we once did. It's about learning from the ancients, not the ancients, the ancients, the masters. And then merging that with in our life with spirituality and balance and oneness with the technological world. That's how we become gods.